Hello, my name is Deskin. I'm a senior studying mechanical engineering. Our last speaker tonight is Aur Beck. Aur Beck is the owner and chief technician of Advanced Energy Solutions, the largest renewable energy firm in Southern Illinois. AES sells, installs, and educates the public about energy efficiency, conserving energy, and renewable energy. Aur Beck is on the board for both the Illinois Renewable Energy Association and the Southern Illinois Center for a Sustainable Future. He also started Oil Addicts Anonymous. I actually met Aur at the Rice and Spice event that he hosts every Friday night at the Guy House. And when I went to see his basic solar energy class at Johnny Logan, I wanted to invite him to speak at SIUC. It is my honor and privilege to introduce our speaker, Aur Beck.
So I've been addicted to renewable energy since I was, actually I don't know when. I met someone at the Bluegrass Energy Expo in Lexington, Kentucky, who knew me when I was 10 years old and knew I was using renewable energy then. I've known since I was 15 that my calling would be to install and do energy education. I did not know that I would have to start a company to do that, but in 1999, after actually a couple years of having a small company, I started with two partners, a corporation, and now, well, we've been doing it for 11 years. Now we install in, 8 states across the Midwest. Anything within 8 hours of here, we install renewable energy. And when I started doing renewable energy, it was only the long-haired freaky people back in the woods who did it. In case you haven't noticed, renewable energy kind of is mainstream now. It's actually considered sexy. It's like, actually until Howard Stern puts it on his house, it won't be completely sexy, right? But a lot of popular people have been putting solar on. Now, in the Midwest, we happen to be, how many years behind the rest of the nation? 5? Does anybody know? Solar's only been mainstream since probably 97. So the Midwest is, we're just catching up now. Now, we've come a long ways from the freaky people back in the woods installing solar to mainstream solar. But actually, the National Electric Code has had, since 1984, in the code book how to install solar. And every 3 years, the NEC comes out and they just released the 2011 National Electric Code. And for the first time, they've actually said who or what it takes to install, like what type of person. Before that, anybody could actually install it. But now it actually says in the National Electric Code, it must be installed by a qualified individual. Now, it doesn't specify exactly what the qualified individual is, but someone who knows electric safety, someone who knows OSHA standards. And so, I guess about 5 years ago, I started doing training classes, part of install. About 2 years ago, I started doing training classes formally, instead of just as part of install, actual hands-on training classes. And in July, I just got asked to join the Department of Energy's Solar Training Network. And I'm just part of the Midwest Solar Training Network. There's only 56 of us across the Midwest. And our job is to train people to install solar and then help colleges start training programs. I actually have to get up, I'll leave the house at 5:30 tomorrow morning because I have to be in Deskin, Illinois at Richland Community College at 9 tomorrow morning to work with them for I'm training the teachers tomorrow. So I actually brought my training trailer. It's outside when you guys ask a few questions. You guys can come out and see a couple of actual working systems on the training trailer and then some demos. In the process, because the Midwest is just starting, I did be in the right place at the right time to help start some organizations like the Illinois Renewable Energy Association. This is the thing. I do a climate presentation, and in that climate presentation, that I show a picture of the Earth. If you guys have probably seen the picture of the Earth on the internet. Now that picture was taken by, mind you, an astronaut, but he took it with his personal camera. And that picture is the most widely reproduced, most widely used picture. It started the Environmental Protection Agency, it started the Earth Day Network, it started the Clean Air Act, it started all these environmental movements. This one guy took one picture. Being at the right place at the right time helps, but having the passion to push something forward. Again, I've been doing this for 11 years, and I don't know how often I've wanted to fold up the business and just say, forget it. Because it's a pain in the butt to run a business. But if you have a passion for doing something, it doesn't matter what it is. I don't know how many people worked for a mainstream business and then did their passion on the weekend, and then retired and then made their money off their passion after they retired. And that's what an entrepreneur or a businessman does. Is they find something that they're passionate about and goes with it. And they try to convince other people to, of course, go with them. But that's what, having a passion for something helps. And it makes it so that, what is it, Facebook? He had the passion for getting girls to like him, right? Right. That was pretty much the whole point of Facebook. It was getting people to like each other, and it worked. So, it really does help to trust other businessmen and other business entrepreneurs to find how to work something. I have purposely tried to keep my business very, very small and do a very good quality job. And then, I go out there and I train my competition. What kind of crappy business model is that? I want to install as much solar as possible. And all these years, I've been going out there. There's a couple solar installers locally that have actually taken my class and went out there and started a solar business. If they have a question about an install, they call me, and I'll give them the answer. I'll tell them this is the correct way to do it. I really believe in open source information. So actually, as part of the Midwest Solar Training Network, we have a wiki just for the teachers that we, put information in there, and eventually we'll make that available to the public. But it's a lot of information that you have to feed in there, specific for one industry. But currently, we have, about 80 users on there for the Midwest Solar Training Network, and we share all of our information. And that's pretty much how the solar industry has been up till a couple years ago. Because the majority of people in the solar industry are either, or have been, they retired into being a solar installer, or they did it as a secondary job. There was very few, I'm probably one of the youngest and one of the few solar installers in the Midwest. Besides Wisconsin, I don't know what happens about Wisconsin, they have a lot of them there, that have been focused completely 100% on installing renewable energy. Most of the solar installers in the Midwest have been doing it as part-time or do other things as part of it. Now I guess you can say I do other things. I do energy education and I do energy training. But that's because that's really where my passion is. So, this is going to be an exciting year. So this is our 12th year. Well, actually, June 4th is our anniversary, so halfway through the year is our 12th year. So we're working our way up to it. So we're going to, I have thought, probably 3 times in the last 11 years about holding the company up. The first time was where I had to buy my business partners out because I felt like they didn't do much work. And then the second time was, and that was right after 9/11. They sold to me very easily because pretty much the whole economy fell apart for about 6 months. And so they were just like, yeah, there's, you know, we didn't literally sell anything for probably 9 months. And so it really helps to, you know, follow the college student mentality when you're starting a business. You know, I have come across, I can name probably 6 solar companies in the last 5 years that have failed within a year, year and a half, where they had massive investor money, they had really big loudmouth CEO, and they did everything right as far as the business goes. But they spent all their investor capital and then they folded. And so they didn't have the technical background, there wasn't really an industry yet. I don't know the reasons why. But I do know that, what did they say? Under promise and over deliver. I was like, so, I tend to really give discounts to people or schools or places that want to do an energy education system, places that want to train somebody. We ended up getting a bid for 17 systems at schools across the state of Missouri. So we did the Missouri Schools Going Solar program. And that actually won the best, the best school program in the nation for the educational component of it. So, any questions? You guys want to come see working system? Of course. Right. Well, it's not working now, it's dark. No, it's an off-grid system, so all day long it charged up batteries. Actually, have lived off-grid for 18 years. Just a couple years ago, I moved out of the woods and moved to town. So now I have an electric bill. I was like, what's an electric bill? Now I know what.
Long hair, dude.
So,
What was the other, before we go out, you said there were 3 moments, just not to negotiate, but other 2 times you...
well, I would say, you know, about, what was it, 2009, when we had the recession that didn't happen. So, I mean, that was pretty difficult. Part of it was we were trying to expand a lot at the same time. It was like, it was the boom and bust economy, basically. Everybody was going crazy and spending a lot of money, and then the whole thing fell apart. And then also, the price of solar just skyrocketed all of a sudden. So because of demand. And so we actually had a contract where we ordered the modules and we didn't get them for 9 months. We ordered in January and we didn't get them until December. And by then the price had gone up about 25%. So, and that was just world demand all of a sudden skyrocketed. So,
What made you push through?
I don't know, I'm going to be doing this whether I make money or not. It's just my passion. I mean, you see a lot of people who do that. They have a hobby that they, you know, wish they could turn into a business. And I just happen to have a hobby that people actually like. So, don't be afraid to tinker. Don't be afraid to, have a hackerspace, right? Just continually come up with new ideas, and you'll be surprised what you come up with. I just went to a conference of all the people I used to study. It was an industry conference, and it was all the people I used to study and, you know, look up to. And they're calling me colleagues, and they're saying you're an old timer now, because all of a sudden there's like this large group of people who are joining the solar industry who have no knowledge of what to do, but they're just, you know, hanging their shingle out. And I'm very glad to see that solar is going mainstream. And now I just have to make sure that whoever is doing it is installing it correctly, so that we don't get a bad reputation for crappy installs.